Hello everybody. Since I've got my new computer and I've been using it for a few days, I thought it'd be now time to do an updated setup tour, however this time with my new computer. Let's start with the PC itself. The case is the Antec 1200, which came out all the way back from 2008, and to be honest, if you never told me that this case was from that era, I would have never noticed. Looks more like it's from 2012 to be honest. And surprisingly, from a case of that era, it has really good airflow. From the front, on the top, in the back, and on the side are all places where the PC can breathe. You don't really see that with cases from that era. I do have a see-through panel, and originally when I was thinking about getting a desktop, I didn't like the idea of having a side panel like this. But now that I have one, I now know all the positivities to having it. For example, I can see all my parts move, or not really move, but see them operate, and I can look at the error code screens on my motherboard without needing to open up the case. Now on the front, it mostly has normal ports like USBs and audio jacks, power and reset, but for some reason, it has a SATA port as well, which I don't actually think I have connected to my motherboard, but it's really weird that I have it. The case also has bundled in fans that have blue LEDs, and usually my setup, aside from my controller, is usually in the blue and black theme. Now let's get on to the actual computer components themselves. The CPU I'm using is the AMD FX 8150, normally clocked at 3.6 GHz, but I was able to get it to nearly 4 GHz, and it has either 4 or 8 cores, depending on who you ask, and 8 threads. Now the only issue I have with this CPU is that it doesn't have as good single core as my old one. However, last time I checked, I believe it has slightly better multi-core, but so far I haven't noticed any issues so far. All I know is that I should at some point, but whatever. The CPU cooler is the Arctic Freezer 7X, and this is a pretty good air cooler. I do have the stock cooler lying around, but that's only if the CPU cooler that I'm using right now breaks. But this is a pretty good one. I haven't dealt with any heat temperature problems so far, and I honestly recommend it so far. Now my motherboard is the Gigabyte GA990 FXA UD7. It is a full ATX motherboard, and it's pretty neat. It has dedicated power and reset buttons, and it has a little tiny LCD panel that can give me error codes if something goes wrong, which makes my whole entire troubleshooting life so much easier. Because instead of needing to guess everything, it will just tell me what's wrong. Or more realistically, it'll give me a 2-digit code that I can go online and find out what it means. But it's a lot easier than just going around and guessing what's going on. The RAM is the Patriot Viper Extreme Series Division 2. It's 16 gigabytes of RAM in dual channel, so it's using technically 8 sticks of RAM combined to get to 16. It's DDR3, and its megahertz count is 1,866, which was better than my last set of RAM on my laptop that was 12 gigabytes and only 1,600 megahertz. My storage is a Western Digital Green 480 gigabyte solid state drive alongside a Western Digital Blue 4 terabyte hard drive. I have a lot of storage, and honestly, I don't think I'll have to upgrade my storage in a long time. And it's good that I went with 4 terabytes, at least for one of my drives, because games nowadays are getting way too big. Like, have you seen the amount of gigabytes you have to download just to get Modern Warfare and Warzone? Now, the graphics card I'm using is the Asus Phoenix Fan GTX 1060. This is the 3 gigabyte variant, so it doesn't have as much VRAM and has a few less CUDA cores, but this is a really, really, really good card. It's an insane upgrade from my older 870. Number one, this one actually has driver support, and I've been recently playing most of my games at 1080p ultra settings, however with shadows at low and anti-aliasing turned off, but other than that, everything else I can ramp up to ultra, which is amazing. The power supply I'm using is the Cooler Master Elite V3 600 watts, and it's 80 plus certified. Normally my PC will consume around 380 watts, so I have a decent amount of wiggle room if I ever want to upgrade. There's 2 other things about my computer that I forgot to mention. One is that I have an Asus Blu-ray drive, and that I have a D-Link Extreme N PCI Wi-Fi card. Honestly, I do actually use physical media, either where it be movies or if I want to copy old PS3 games to use in the RPCS3 emulator. So I still use it. And for the Wi-Fi card, this one uses just regular PCI. So if I do upgrade my motherboard, and if that one's using completely PCIe, I'll have to change the Wi-Fi card. But they're usually cheap, so who cares? Also from the back, I do have a Asus. Yeah, okay, I'm sounding like an Asus fanboy because I have an Asus graphics card, Blu-ray drive, and this. A Bluetooth adapter, USB, that allows me to use any sort of Bluetooth peripheral I want. Now for my displays, my main monitor that I use for gaming is the Samsung SBM2230H at 1080p 60Hz. same as the one built into my old laptop. However, this one is a lot bigger. And now, for the monitor on my left, I'm still using that NEC 1940CX running at 1024p at 60 hertz, which I mostly just use to watch YouTube videos or movies while I'm working, or gaming, or just any sort of general multitasking. However, I have a third display. My third display is my Philips 1080p TV. And yes, that is made by Philips, the same company that gave you this.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Which resulted in many, many amazing YTPs. Now, if you're curious how I'm actually able to connect this TV to my PC, which is actually a far distance away, I'm actually able to directly connect it to my graphics card through HDMI, not through the Steam Link or anything like NVIDIA Shield. And the reason why I'm able to directly connect it to my graphics card is because I have this insanely long HDMI cable that is taller than me. And I was actually able to salvage this from my uncle's work, and they were just gonna throw this cable away, which is kind of insane. And last night I did actually try to play a game on this TV. I was playing Assassin's Creed Unity with a PlayStation 4 controller, and it was actually a pretty decent experience. And also, this is gonna be good if I have anyone that comes to my house and wants to play a split screen game, and then we can just play this on here. Now for my peripherals, I am still using the Fragapalooza mouse pad and the Blackweb gaming mouse, but I'm using this gaming keyboard that I'm not really that sure what it is, and I forgot, but I bought it a few years ago and didn't really use it because I got my laptop, but now I'm using it and it's actually still in pretty good condition. It actually feels a bit nicer because it's mechanical, and I'm using this red PlayStation 4 controller. Honestly, the PlayStation 4 controller alongside with the GameCube controller are probably my favorite controllers. It just has a nice feeling to it. However, the only thing is that the color is red. Well, I don't know if you noticed it, but my whole setup has a blue and black style that I mentioned earlier, and that's the only thing that really stands out, I guess. I do have a wireless El Cheapo mouse that I use just to navigate through my computer if I'm using my TV. Not that much to say. I don't even know what brand it is. Now for my audio, I'm using the Blue Snowball Ice as my microphone, and it's a really good microphone for your budget, if your budget is around $70-ish. At least that's what I've paid. Also, I have a fur filter, which can be also useful when recording audio. And honestly, if you want to get into any field that requires a microphone and you just need one and literally $70-ish is your budget, this is a pretty good one. At least that's what I paid for, but that was in Canadian dollars and different economies and all that stuff. But this is a pretty good microphone, at least through my experience. There's also the Blue Yeti that you can try out, which is a little bit more expensive, but it's a pretty popular one and known for being decent quality. And then to listen to audio, I'm just using this Be Excellent headset that's pretty cheap and might need an upgrade, but I have other stuff that I should upgrade first. The big one being my chair. This is a really crappy office chair that doesn't support my back at all, and it's sometimes a little bit uncomfortable to sit on it. And sometime this year, I'm going to upgrade to a better office chair that actually supports my neck. Sorry if I'm something mad about this. I'm generally kind of mad. I do have the same knickknacks on my shelves. The Alien Legacy Collection, Pokemon Sword for Switch, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for Switch, Modern Warfare 2 for Xbox 360, Grand Theft Auto 6 for PS4. It's just a prank version. That's not actually it. But inside it is a 4GB blank DVD, some more licensed stuff, the Megalodon tooth and piece of Lapis Lazuli, the Voodoo statue, the FNAF Bonnie Funko Pop, and the cannon. But then now on my other shelf, I have a bunch of computer boxes because stuff like the power supply and cooler are 2020 stuff, or 2021 stuff actually. I think the Freezer 7's actually the latest part of the computer that I actually have, and it's still in warranty, and I have a 6-year warranty, but I have to keep the box. But that's actually where the stock cooler, it's actually in that box. Also, it's just cool to put on display, just all my computer component boxes. I am using a webcam, and that webcam is the Creative Live Cam Sync. It is at 1080p, and I believe 30 FPS, and it's a lot better than that 480p or 720p camera that I used on my old laptop. I hope you guys enjoyed my setup tour video, and that it possibly answered any questions you might have about my new hardware. I also have a few announcements that I want to talk about in this outro. I am now part of a podcast/talk show hosted by my friend Skyraider Ultima, and it's just by the name of The Random Talk Show. And there is now a cut-up version of the whole entire stream where it's just the really funny bits that has been uploaded on Skyraider Ultima's channel, and I'll put that in the description so you guys can check that out.
Alright, this is do you guys see the other one?
Yeah, Megaman looks like Adam Sandler in that one.
Oh my god! You don't do this. Oh my god!
What the fuck? Are you going for the same game? Mega Man
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
Why do they have so many covers? They're so fucking legendary.
Once again, state-of-the-art high-resolution graphics.
I choked it.
Oh, actually,
If you haven't. And stay tuned for episode 3 because I'm gonna bet a good dime that it's probably gonna be pretty funny. The other thing is, I've somewhat thought about making possible game review videos. I have a lot of free indie games in my Steam and itch.io library that I just claimed because they were free and just never played them. So I thought that might be interesting to actually give all those games a shot and review them. Because I'm probably gonna assume that I might actually like some of them. But we'll see if I actually make these review videos. And with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like it, and if this is your first time watching, be sure to subscribe and join our Discord server. We have a pretty awesome community, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.